consciousness is not self. These two things, the body and consciousness or mind, the Buddha says it's much easier to see that the body is not self because we can see the body changing year by year as you grow older. And then also you can see not only your body, you can see your parents' body, your grandparents' body, your relatives and all that. They grow old, they become sick and they die. So it's much easier to see that the body is not the self. But very hard to see the mind or consciousness as not the self. That's why here is asking Venerable Ananda. And Venerable Ananda said, it is possible, friend Udai. Doesn't I consciousness arise in dependence on the I and forms? And he said, yes, friend. If the cause and condition for the arising of I consciousness would cease completely and totally without remainder, could I consciousness be discerned? No, friend. In this way, friend, this has been declared, disclosed and revealed by the Blessed One thus. For such a reason, this consciousness is not self. I'll stop here for a moment. So here, Venerable Ananda says, I consciousness arises on condition that two things are present. The I must be there, forms must come before the I. With these two conditions, I consciousness arises. So since I consciousness arises dependent on these two things, the I and forms, and these two things, the I and forms, are also impermanent, right? So when they cease, so if you say that I consciousness is the self, then when the I and the form cease, that means the condition for I consciousness to arise ceases, then naturally I consciousness will cease. So if I consciousness ceases, then where is the self? Right? If there's a self, it must exist all the time. But if it arises and then passes away, arises and passes away, it cannot be the self. The idea of the self, atta, is something that is permanent, that is never changing, that there is a core, that unchanging, which you can identify as the self. But if it changes and it can disappear, then how can it be the self? Right? So the Ananda is trying to say, for the reason that I consciousness is dependent on conditions, and when the conditions cease, then I consciousness also must cease. So it cannot be, it is not self. Similarly, ear consciousness arises in dependence on the ear and sounds. So in a similar way, ear consciousness also is not the self when the ear and sounds cease. And similarly for the other senses. In this way, friend, it has been declared, disclosed and revealed by the Blessed One thus. For such a reason, this consciousness is not self. Suppose, friend, a man needing hardwood, seeking hardwood, wandering in search of hardwood, would take a sharp axe and enter a forest. There he would see the trunk of a large plantain tree, that means a banana tree, straight, fresh, without a fruit but core. He would cut it down at the root, cut off the crown, and unroll the coil. As he unrolls the coil, he would not find even soft wood, let alone hardwood. So too, a monk does not recognize either a self or anything belonging to a self in these six bases for contact, these six sense bases. Since he does not recognize anything thus, he does not cling to anything in the world. Not clinging, he is not agitated. Being unagitated, he personally attains Nibbana. He understands, destroyed is birth, the holy life has been lived, what had to be done has been done. There is no more for this state of being. That's the end of the sutta. So the Buddha says, if a monk sees that the six sense bases and all the things connected with the six sense bases are impermanent and not self, it means that the whole world is impermanent and not self, because the whole world exists in the six sense bases, the six consciousness. So when he does not cling to anything in the world, then he becomes disenchanted and becomes dispassionate, and he attains liberation. 35.235. Monks, I will teach you a Dhamma exposition on the theme of burning. Listen to that. And what, monks, is the Dhamma exposition on the theme of burning? It would be better, monks, for the eye faculty to be lacerated by a red-hot iron pin, burning, blazing and glowing, than for one to grasp the sign to the features, to grasp the sign and the features in a form cognizable by the eye. For if consciousness should stand tight to gratification in the sign or in the features, and if one should die on that occasion, it is possible that one will go to one of two destinations, hell or the animal realm. Having seen this danger, I speak thus. I'll stop here for a moment. So the Buddha says, instead of using the eye to grasp the signs and the features in any form that you see, it is better to take a red-hot iron pin and hack or poke the eye until it cannot see, because Buddha says if you use eye consciousness and you see forms that are pleasing and you are satisfied in the signs and features of the form, and you cling to it, then if you die at that moment, you'll go to rebirth in hell or the animal realm. So dangerous is the clinging to the six senses, six sense objects. And the Buddha continued, it would be better, monks, for the ear faculty to be lacerated by a sharp iron stake, burning, blazing and glowing, than for one to grasp the sign and the features in sound cognizable by the ear. For if consciousness should stand tight to gratification in the sign or in the features, and if one should die on that occasion, it is possible that one will go to one of two destinations, hell or the animal realm. Having seen this danger, I speak thus. It would be better, monks, for the nose faculty to be lacerated by a sharp nail cutter, burning, blazing and glowing, and for one to grasp the sign and the features in odor cognizable by the nose. For if consciousness should stand tight to gratification in the sign or in the features, and if one should die on that occasion, it is possible that one will go to one of two destinations, hell or the animal realm. Having seen this danger, I speak thus. It will be better, monks, for the tongue faculty to be lacerated by a sharp razor, burning, blazing and glowing, than for one to grasp the sign and the features in taste cognizable by the tongue. For if consciousness should stand tight to gratification in the sign or in the features, and if one should die on that occasion, it is possible that one will go to one of two destinations, hell or the animal realm. Having seen this danger, I speak thus. It would be better, monks, for the body faculty to be lacerated by a sharp spear, burning, blazing and glowing, than for one to grasp the signs and the features in a tactile object cognizable by the body. For if consciousness should stand tight to gratification in the sign or in the features, and if one should die on that occasion, it is possible that one will go to one of two destinations, hell or the animal realm. Having seen this danger, I speak thus. It would be better, monks, to sleep, for sleep, I say, is barren for the living, fruitless for the living, insensibility for the living, than to think such thoughts as would induce one who has come under their control to bring about a schism in the Sangha, Having seen this danger, I speak thus. Stop here for a moment. So here the Buddha is saying it's better to destroy all the six sense organs than to use them to enjoy sensual objects. Because if you use your sense organs to enjoy sensual objects and you cling to them, at the moment when you die you are still attached to them, then it's possible for you to go to hell or the animal realm. Except the last one, this last one is not to enjoy, but if you use your mind to think unwholesome thoughts, for example, to split the Sangha of monks, cause a schism, then it's better not to use the mind and go to sleep better. In regard to these monks, the learned noble disciple reflects thus: leave off lacerating the eye faculty with a red-hot iron pin, burning, blazing and glowing. Let me attend only to this. So the eye is impermanent, forms are impermanent, eye consciousness is impermanent, eye contact is impermanent. Whatever feeling arises with eye contact as condition, whether pleasant or painful, or neither painful nor pleasant, that too is impermanent. Leave off lacerating the ear faculty with a sharp iron stick, burning, blazing and glowing. Let me attend only to this. So the ear is impermanent, sounds are impermanent, ear consciousness is impermanent, ear contact is impermanent. Whatever feeling arises with ear contact as condition, that too is impermanent. Leave off lacerating the nose faculty with a sharp nail cutter, burning, blazing and glowing. Let me attend only to this. So the nose is impermanent, odors are impermanent, nose consciousness is impermanent, nose contact is impermanent. Whatever feeling arises with nose contact as condition, that too is impermanent. Leave off lacerating the tongue faculty with a sharp razor, burning, blazing and glowing. Let me attend only to this. So the tongue is impermanent, tastes are impermanent, tongue consciousness is impermanent, tongue contact is impermanent. Whatever feeling arises with tongue contact as condition, that too is impermanent. Leave off lacerating the body faculty with a sharp spear, burning, blazing and glowing. Let me attend only to this. So the body is impermanent, tactile objects are impermanent, body consciousness is impermanent, body contact is impermanent. Whatever feeling arises with body contact as condition, that too is impermanent. Leave off sleeping. Let me attend only to this. So the mind is impermanent, mental phenomena or thoughts are impermanent, mind consciousness is impermanent, mind contact is impermanent. Whatever feeling arises with mind contact as condition, that too is impermanent. Seeing thus monks, the learned noble disciple experiences revulsion towards the eye, forms, eye consciousness, eye contact, and whatever feeling arises with eye contact as condition. Similarly for the other six sense bases, so he experienced revulsion towards the six sense bases, the six sense objects, the six sense consciousness, the contact, and the feeling that arises. Experiencing revulsion, he becomes dispassionate. Through dispassion, his mind is liberated. When it is liberated, there comes the knowledge it's liberated. He understands, destroyed is birth, the holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more for this state of being. This, monks, is the Dhamma exposition on the theme of burning. So here the Buddha says, instead of going to the extreme step of destroying your six sense faculties, the Buddha says, learned noble disciple having wisdom should only attend to the fact that the six sense bases are impermanent, the six sense objects are impermanent, the six sense consciousness are impermanent, the six sense contacts are impermanent, the feeling that arises at the six sense bases are also impermanent. So when you realize that they are all impermanent, that means everything in the world is impermanent. So you feel, the noble disciple will feel revulsion, disenchanted with the